The chapel was cold. Not the kind of cold that brushes your skin and fades, but the kind that burrows deep, settles into bone, and makes a home there. I sat 2 rows from the back, alone, deliberately unseen, while the Graydon family, my daughter-in-laws, people occupied the front pews as if they owned not only the seats, but the very air we breathed. Their coats gleamed, their shoulders squared, their whispers low but sharp. They treated the funeral like theater. No one cried. Neither did I. My grief had long ago outgrown tears, hardening into something heavier. A stone lodged beneath my ribs. At the altar, Ellison's casket shone polished, untouched by the cracks that had run through all of us. My son lay inside, yet the man I had once known, the boy I had raised, had been gone years before the final breath. Silence had grown between us. Silence I thought was neglect, or worse, indifference. He had become distant, mechanical. Birthdays, acknowledged only by text. Holidays reduced to perfunctory group emails from his wife. Seraphine's eulogy was immaculate. She thanked colleagues, board members, benefactors. Speech so carefully curated it could have been sent to the press. She did not mention Ellison as a son, not once as a father. I sat still, staring at the blurred colors of the stained glass window above her head. When the service ended, the scrape of chairs and rustle of coats filled the air. I waited, slow to rise, wanting to be invisible. But the doors opened again. A tall man in a gray coat walked down the aisle. He ignored everyone else and came directly to me. "Mrs. Mallister." I stood. "My name is Dean Millay. Your son asked me to be here." From his pocket, he pulled a small black USB drive, holding it not like a mere object, but like something. SACREDI froze. Memories rushed me without mercy. Ellison at 5, clinging to me after his father's accident at the docks. Eyes wide with questions I had no answers for. Nights I worked hospice shifts and cleaned offices to keep food on the table. Pancakes shaped into stars. Stories read by flashlight when the power had been cut. My grandmother's ring sold so he could take his place at Yale. The pride, the distance, the silence that followed. And still I had kept writing, kept sewing quilts, sending gifts, wrapping them in ribbons like I always had. No responses, no acknowledgments. I thought I had been erased. At the reception, I spotted my grandson, Noel, standing small between adults, too preoccupied to notice. His hands clutched a paper cup of lemonade, his face pale, fragile with grief. I crouched beside him. "You holding up, sweetheart?" He nodded, then glanced around before whispering, "Daddy used to look at your pictures." He cried. I blinked. "What pictures?" "The blue ones." "From your gallery?" I froze. That gallery hadn't been publicized to him. I hadn't told him. But he had found it, kept it, wept over it. By evening, Dean gathered us into a private room at the hotel, a polished table, the Graydon family arrayed like board members ready to divide spoils. Seraphine sat rigid, her eyes shining with the certainty of victory. I slipped into a chair near the door, invisible, bracing. Dean dimmed the lights. The projector flickered, and then my son appeared on screen. My heart stumbled. He was thinner, drawn, but his eyes direct, unflinching, met the lens. "If you're seeing this, I'm gone. Mom, this is for you." He exhaled, steadying himself. I let distance grow between us. I believed things I shouldn't have. "I thought your silence was neglect." It wasn't. It was stolen. Skaze. darkened. Seraphine intercepted your letters. She rerouted your emails. She made sure I never saw them, and I believed her. The Gradens shifted uncomfortably. Seraphine's jaw clenched. Ellison's voice cut sharper. I should have trusted my gut. I should have remembered who always showed up. Mom, you always loved me. And because of that, Ski gets everything. The room gasped. My hands gripped the arms of the chair. Ellison continued, unwavering. His home, his investments, his manuscripts, and most of all the foundation he had created for young artists and coders. I was to share it. Noelle someday would inherit it, and to Seraphine. A single check for $5,000. And a book. Titled How to Be Kind. The silence after was heavy. Seraphine erupted, calling it a fraud, a farce. But her words fell flat against Ellison's recorded voice. 2 days later, Dean met me at a cafe. From his briefcase, he slid a leather-bound journal across the table. Your son wanted you to have this? I opened it slowly. His handwriting spilled across the pages, memories of me, moments I thought forgotten, humming while making pancakes. Sewing stars into his backpack, patching his world when it fell apart. Regrets, apologies. Tucked inside was a photo of one of my paintings, annotated in his hand, Lake Dunley Dusk. I remember this sky on the final page. Written in an even scrawl. They lied to me, but she always loved me. I see it now. I pressed the page to my chest. The ache shifted, not gone, but transformed into something heavier, rooted, undeniable. I moved into his Beacon Hill home. I found my own painting framed on his wall. I opened the windows. I built the fellowship he envisioned, stood before boardrooms and schools. Carrying his wishes forward with steady resolve, months passed. Then, one afternoon, an envelope arrived. The handwriting was uneven, childlike. Inside was a crayon drawing me with silver hair and a red scarf, holding hands with Ellison. Beneath it, Grandma, Daddy would be proud. Love. Noelle? I did not cry. I only held the drawing to my chest until the paper grew warm in my hands. That weekend, I carried it to the cemetery. I laid it at the base of Ellison's stone and sat in the damp grass. You saw me, son? I whispered. And I see you now. The wind moved through the trees. Shadows stretched across the earth. Not chasing, not suffocating. For the first time in years, they felt like companions. And I walked beside them,